Hello, 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 pretty girl alumni. Welcome to the lesson. Class is in session. Please grab some snacks, some tea, anything to keep you company. Today, we are going to be talking about the accepted bullying of pretty women, the social bullying of pretty women. And this topic is stemming from the recent posts and discourse going around Lupita Nyong'o being average and basically a lot of people not being happy with the position that she's in and saying that she is not a good representation of black women. And this just makes me so upset as a black woman myself because it's like there's always a double standard. First of all, in how you can treat certain people. Like, if I was to say majority of the things that were being said about Lupita to an actual average, maybe badly built woman, not socially acclaimed in any way, then I would be called a bully. I would be called rude and insensitive and all these things. But somehow, when it's towards the pretty girls and successful pretty girls at that, then it's accepted and it's fair and it's criticism in quotation marks because people are forgetting that criticism can be constructive and criticism can be put in a way that it doesn't break someone down, it builds them up. Everything that has been said about Lupita, I don't see how that's going to elevate her in her career, how that's going to make her improve. It seems like more of a smear campaign. So I pulled up the image of the post that was made under a video, and I just want to read this to you because this is crazy to me, okay? So the lady goes, just because the messenger was an average looking girl doesn't mean she's wrong. So this is replying to a um, YouTube video where basically they were discussing that Lupita is a representation of struggle black culture, which doesn't make sense to me because she acted in Black Panther as like a missionary I want to say vigilante. I wasn't sure what her role was, but it seemed like she was doing some um spy work, and she took out in the beginning scene, she took out those guys that were trafficking women, and then she was made as the love interest of the king of the most profitable nation in Africa. So how is that a representation of struggle? Please tell me. Please tell me. And also, she's about to act in the Odyssey as Helen of Troy. It's speculated. And if I look up the role of Helen of Troy, it says in the Odyssey, she appears in Book 4, where she is depicted as both a figure of beauty and as a woman with a complex role in the Trojan War. Okay? So tell me now, why would these Hollywood directors and producers and people who are funding this project. If Lupita Nyong'o is truly as average and ugly and unimpressive as they claim, why would they waste their budget on casting such a person? Answer me. Answer me that. Isn't like, this is what gets me with the black community, the hypocrisy of the black community. One minute we need to stand on our own and we need to deviate from the white standards and the beauty standards, the European Eurocentric beauty standards. And then in the next minute we need to assimilate closer to it so that we appease the white audience. Can you tell me that? Like, how is Lupita Nyong'o a bad representation for black women? She is not as problematic as a lot of your faves, a lot of your white faves. Like, literally, how is this discourse going on when we had the recent American Eagle um, commercial and Sydney Sweeney saying, "Oh, I have blue jeans. My jeans are blue," and the black community was in an uproar because of that. And I'm not trying to generalize the black community. I know this is a not the whole group. I know that there are some people looking at this as well, like myself, saying this is crazy. But I just want to point out the hypocrisy because I bet you the same women that were commenting this stuff on Lupita's video or a video about Lupita are the same ones that were getting outraged at the commercial and saying, well, this is white supremacy essentially. So, like, I'm just pointing out the hypocrisies here. And a lot of the hypocrisies come from the people with the biggest voices or social platforms in the Black community. I'm not saying like uh, celebrity wise, I'm saying more so the fan pages, the YouTube channels that make celebrity commentary. It's insane to me. So let me carry on reading this. Lupita is not extremely gorgeous. She's average. Most of you would be upset if you woke up tomorrow and looked like Lupita. Lupita is horrible representation for black women. She doesn't even have sex appeal or hair. Okay, now I'm going to get into this one. So they're saying that Lupita is average and she is not a good representation for black women because a lot of y'all wouldn't want to look like her. Well, that is false. Like, I'm sorry, I just have to laugh because that is extremely false and people know this. Like, people are literally talking out of their ass because they're just clutching at things. Like they always wanna have a problem with a pretty dark skinned girl in the top, especially. And I was watching Exoticals United video about Chloe Bailey and how they're ripping into her as well. And she was discussing how when it's like unambiguous black women, they're more supportive. And I do agree with that. I think they're less harsh on critiquing. It's not even criticism at this point, it's literally bullying. Because if you saying someone looks like a cougar, a 45-year-old, she's fat, this and this and that, that's what the video was saying about Chloe Bailey, then that is bullying. How is saying that to someone criticism and going to help them? Like, that is not criticism, that is bullying. So essentially, what they don't want is someone who they cannot relate to. And I feel like that's why they pick on the light skin and the mixed exoticals the most because they can't relate to them. They can't relate to their social problems. Because let me tell you something, just because someone has privilege or is beautiful does not mean that they don't have struggles. And in fact, I would like to argue that attractive people and people who are more on the outskirts of society, like the super talented people, the super intelligent people, the super rich people, the super attractive people, have more struggles because they gain less empathy from the people around them. They have more like jealousy and envy and people plotting against them. And that causes more trauma because if more people have less good intentions for you, then more people are going to treat you badly. And it's just insane to me how 1 minute Lupita was this great representation for black women. Like, she wears her natural hair on the red carpets, and people were gagging because of that. Like, yes, we need to change the standards. And now all of a sudden, oh, she don't have hair. Is she bald? She's not bald. She literally has either an afro, and if she does shave her hair, she doesn't shave it completely off. So how are you saying she's bald and she has no sex appeal when she was acclaimed for wearing her natural hair on the red carpet? Do you see the hypocrisy and do you see the mental coping that needs to take the mental gymnastics that these people need to do to convince themselves to bring these people off their pedestal. Let me tell you why they're actually angry at Lupita. They're not angry at Lupita because Lupita has not changed. Since she started her career, she has been the same person. She does not get into beef. She does not get into drama. She's not problematic. She's not like these actors who are getting caught like abusing drugs or they have like court cases against them. She is one of the most unproblematic actors in Hollywood. but she still is able to make revenue for herself and traction because of her talent. Her talent speaks louder than anything else. And let me talk about the sex appeal part because this is actually what gets me mad. Because weren't y'all mad at Ice Spice for having too much sex appeal and that's all she brings to the table and she's shaking her ass and when she lost weight? So this is what I'm highlighting, the hypocrisies. Y'all were mad at Ice Spice for always shaking ass, not bringing enough talent compared to her beauty and, her sex appeal. And then she lost the weight, right? And then y'all clowned her for that too. Y'all said, oh, the Ozempic this, the Ozempic that. You look better when you were thicker. This, I saw the comments. I've seen the comments, the collective bullying. And you can say, oh, yeah, it's because of the stuff with Cleopatra. I think that's her name. Sorry if that's not her name. But what does that have to do about body, like body image and stuff? And they have been saying this stuff about Ice Spice before the that whole incident, and I just think that that instance was a gateway for people to start freely ripping into her. But this is my theory, and you can contest to this if I'm wrong. The black community and women with inferiority complexes within that community only love their representation as much as they can relate to it. So they love the ratchet Tyler Perry actors that can't act for shit, and they will praise them and they'll go on about them and their mediocre acting. But Lupita didn't get there because of her beauty. I would even argue that. Lupita graduated from Yale. Okay? And I just want to read the statistics about Yale. She also graduated from Hampshire University. So she went to two colleges, very prestigious colleges. Yale is so prestigious. How is that average? Please tell me again, how is that average? Okay. Lupita doesn't act in these super sexual roles where it's just about like, let's look at your titties, Sydney Sweeney. Let's look at your titties. Um, you go sleep around with a bunch of guys. She is casted as a very elegant and very high class woman in a lot of her roles. Like she is either starring or she is like very prestigious within her role. Like she has a prestigious and integral part to the film. So one minute we're over sexualizing black women and that needs to stop. Comments by black women. Next minute, black women should own their sexuality and have more sex appeal. Because the same thing can be said about Megan Thee Stallion. Weren't you telling her to stop shaking her ass? All she does is twerk on videos, on her Instagram videos. She even had a rebuttal saying that if you don't want to see me twerking, then unfollow me. This is what I'm saying is that you truly don't hate these people because you watch them intensely and with such ferocity. If you truly hate something, you distance yourself from it. You don't think about it, you don't talk about it, you become indifferent to it. So the fact that you are here, unless it's like directly affecting your life, that's the only exception where you might actually spend time on that thing and try to fight it. But what are y'all fighting for here? What are y'all fighting for? Are y'all fighting for less unambiguous representation? And then I'm going to get into the next comment, okay? So this person said, and this situation really points out how deep Black people dislike themselves, that they are willing to promote someone who is bald and flat chested just because she doesn't have a Black person's flat nose. Okay. Oh my gosh, honey, I think the reason why she's in the position she's in is because she's a Mexican citizen who is a Kenyan immigrant. So, like, think about how crazy that is. Like, let's look at Lupita's accolades for a minute, okay? So, she is born in Mexico, but she's actually Kenyan. She was able to break out into mainstream Hollywood with, first of all, being an immigrant, because we all know how immigrants are treated in the States, especially Mexican immigrants. And not only on top of that was she a Mexican citizen, but she was also Kenyan. So already we have two things working against her: her status, her citizenship status, and her ethnicity. Because we all know the white supremacy within Hollywood. And then on top of that, she was accepted into Hampshire, which is a very prestigious college, and then also Yale. So Yale only has a 4.6% acceptance rate as of now. 4.6%, and it's probably gone down over the years because of how Yale has grown. Obviously, more people are applying to it because, Yale, Harvard, Princeton, those schools, the Ivy League schools, are the most talked about schools. It's very prestigious just to get accepted into it, let alone graduate from it. So, out of the 4.6% of applicants were accepted, and an even lesser amount of that are international students. The statistic says that 28% of the accepted rate of international students, of all the acceptance rates, only 28% are international students. So, how is that average? Please remind me again, how is that average? No, like, no one can sit here and tell me right now that if someone graduated from Yale, they're average. Because if they're truly average, then you can do that, can't you? Where's your acting? Where is your acting accolade since Lupita is so average? Why aren't you, the person who's talking, why aren't you able to garner the same success that Lupita has? Since that's what an average person can attain. Are you calling yourself less than average? Are you calling yourself below average? I'm not even going to read the rest of these comments because they're actually triggering me. Um, this is this is insane. This is self-hate at its greatest. Like, it's insane to me. And I know I didn't really have a clear structure in this video. I just wanted to get those comments out and just to highlight the hypocrisy. I have been feeling sick, so that's why I haven't posted in a week. But I really needed to get on the internet and talk about this because this is insane. And I think not enough people from the opposing side are speaking up. And I want to add my voice to the mix and say to all those women who are making those disgusting comments about any black woman in the top, Tyler, Chloe Bailey, Beyonce, Megan Thee Stallion, Lupita Nyong'o, all of them at the top, all those girls that are working hard to actually allow more black women into those types of spaces, because you think that them being in those positions is just benefiting them. If they are successful, like, and they're able to have longevity in the music industry or in the acting industry, that's going to allow other black actors into those roles. So not only now are you ruining it for them, but you're also ruining it for the other people, the future generation possibly. How selfish are you? You're actually regressing the black movement far behind. And quite honestly, all the fucking black leaders that y'all admire, the Malcolm X, the Martin Luther Kings, the Nelson Mandelas, they would be disgusted by your comments and they would be disgusted by the way you guys are behaving right now. And I know most likely my audience isn't a part of that group, but I just need to get that out there. Like, this is insane. And I'm going to make a video about the social bullying of pretty women, especially pretty women who are educated and who are at the top and who don't get into beef. Because a lot of these celebrities that they're going into aren't responding. They don't say anything. They just they do the work and they enjoy the fruits of their labor. And the problematic people, because if you want to come for anyone, let's come for Nicki Minaj. She defended two sexual assaulters, her brother and her husband. But I don't see people having discourse about that. I don't see people being in an uproar about that. I don't see the Bobs calling her out, saying that her music of late is average and that she should do better because she's coming for all the new girls. I don't see that. So if you are going to critique anyone, critique them on their fucking work. If you have a degree in drama from Yale or Harvard or wherever, put your comment to use. So what is Lupita supposed to do because she's average looking according to y'all? What is she supposed to do about that? Is she supposed to get tons of surgery so that y'all can clown her for that as well? Is she supposed to bleach her skin so y'all can clown that for her as well? Y'all just hate women who have risen above y'all and the foolish antics that y'all constantly involved in. And y'all hate people who are at the top and elevating, so y'all want to bring them down. It's nothing but admiration disguised as hate. You admire this person, you're envious. That's what you are. You're not trying to help this person, you're not trying to help the community. You are so insecure and feeling some type of way about what you bring to the world that you have time to get online and type all these stupid comments. You type whole paragraphs. You could have written poetry and sold it to the masses. You could have done art with your time. You could have done something constructive. But here you are. Here you are, no accolades. No one even knows who you are. That's why you're going to go down in history as a troll. Lupita's going to go down in history as black representation, as black excellence. And nothing you can say can take that away from her because you're not on her level. That's the irony. So you can squeal as much as you want, but it's not going to change. The people who actually matter see her value. And this is what I was talking about in my previous videos, is that pretty girls, don't worry. The people who actually matter will see your value. Because if your value was determined by the trolls, then no one would be at the top. Literally. Because as soon as they get to the top, the trolls would get mad and pull them down. And that's why they're not in charge of who gets the social accolades, because they don't make judgment based on logic and talent and what they see. They make it based on their traumas because they were called ugly for being dark skinned. So now they're mad that a dark skinned woman is acclaimed and held to this high regard that she's even casted as a Greek legend. Yeah. She's not even white and she got that role. So what, you mad? You mad? Please, please. That's all I have to say. I'm gonna make another video where I go into the psychology of why women, especially women, because I'm so tired of these pick-me's. Like, oh my God, I am like, I don't even have any words to express it. But that is the video for today. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Comment below how you feel about these situations because this is mind-boggling to me. Comment below if you have any other stories, like if there's any other celebrity that's getting ripped into that I'm not aware of for stupid reasons or for their appearances. And I will see you on the next one. Bye.